Well, good afternoon, everyone. Hi, I'm Benjamin Z. Meller, and I'm here to tell you about Andesite Blue's emerging market bonds. This is an important investment, and I need to read you a short disclaimer because this investment is only available to qualified investors. And when we send you the investment packet, you will have the long form version of this. But in the meantime, as an accredited investor, you will be aware that all investments carry some level of risk. This investment is only available to investors who are able to assess their own appetite for risk. Please read the risk statement within the investment memorandum before investing. All right, fantastic. So let's go ahead and get started. So this is an important project. Much of the country of Ukraine has been destroyed. We have all seen it in the newspapers, and we're all aware of what is going on in the country. The United Nations, the European Union, other governments are going to start paying to help rebuild Ukraine. And the costs of rebuilding Ukraine are going to be high. They could be as high as $750 billion, maybe even $1 trillion. But there is also a massive opportunity for private investment, because there is not enough funding from governments to cover all of that. So it's a very good opportunity for private investment to help and to profit. When this war ends, there is going to be an absolute gold rush, and investors will benefit in this the same way as after the end of World War II, the rebuilding of Europe. There is a huge opportunity here for investors.
It's a real honor for Ukraine Invest to sponsor Ukraine House Davos this year, because there were a number of key things that came away from that engagement. There's three basic reasons that were stipulated. We had Sir Suma Chakrabarty, president of the EBRD, basically said that because of the government's reforms, Ukraine is open for business. I think that was a very key message for everybody to hear. The second message that we got was from business itself, major companies that basically said, look, Ukraine, because of the reforms that the government has undertaken, is now a stable, predictable, emerging market. We can wrap our heads around the risk-reward ratio and we can make money. And the third takeaway was that it was given to us by Horizon Capital that had just set up a $200 million private equity fund for investment into Ukrainian small cap companies, saying that Ukraine has highly valued assets that are underpriced, and that this was another fantastic opportunity that to catch Ukraine on the way up as the economy continues to grow.
So we've got a video clip here, and this video clip, we're looking at Bucha and Irpin. These cities, that even though these villages near Kiev were destroyed by the Russians in a devastating way, the Ukrainians have already started rebuilding. Companies are coming in from outside of Ukraine. Movie stars, rock stars, sports stars, they are donating money to rebuild Bucha and Irpin, and they have already been rebuilt. You know, folks, it's interesting. If you remember Kiev, all of the destruction in Kiev, some of those office buildings that were absolutely devastated, struck by missiles, those office buildings have already been rebuilt. They are already open for business. And what is so important for people to understand is that none of this would have been done if there was not the understanding that the Ukrainians would not have done this if they did not think the situation was stabilized, where these attacks were not going to continue. When you invest into Andesite Blue Bonds, you are investing into a variety of industries. This would include surgical and healthcare, dental. We also will be dealing with the industry of agriculture, and there is a significant foreign investment protection that is in place to protect investors. The government of Ukraine has gone through a number of safeguards to protect investors, and these include making certain that an investor has the right to repatriate their money. So if they invest from the UK or from Germany, they are guaranteed that they will be able to take that money out of the country. There also are guarantees by the government of Ukraine in case of any illegal actions by authorities. Really, the government has gone through and done a lot of de-oligarchization. They've done a lot of things to make sure that foreign investors are safe. And you will be able to benefit from this foreign investment protection when you actually purchase an Andesite Blue Bond. So that is a big thing that is a positive development. The reconstruction and the industry bonds, it's something where there's so much destruction that has happened. And by rebuilding, by helping with the rebuilding, we are able to earn a significant passive income for our investors. The same with agriculture, and we'll show a little later in the presentation an example of a project in the agricultural industry that we're excited about to be sharing with you. What we have here is a project that is going to be an ambulatory care center on the first floor, where there'll be a general GP surgery practice, there'll be dental, there'll be a lot of different things that people need. But then above on the second floor is going to be 70 apartments, and these apartments are set up for returning Ukrainian refugees, because a lot of people, they have moved, and when they come back, they may not have a home to go to. This is an example of a great project, and it is going to be providing shelter to migrants. So very nice project. We're happy to be doing that with Ukraine NUA. Another project that we are working with Ukraine NUA is a project for the phased creation of modular communities. So if you notice the plan that is in the over here on the left side, you can see how the arrangement is. It's kind of green colored. These are going to be set up. A certain number of these will be built in phases. And the nice thing about this is that they can be rapidly put together. So we're going to be able to supply housing on a large scale rapidly by doing these with the modular construction initiative, also set up for Ukrainian refugees. Another project that is so exciting, and this shows an example, because sometimes we get asked the question, how can your bonds pay so much? Well, here is a great example. What you're looking at here is a biofuel distillery, where basically corn is taken and then it is processed and it is made into ethanol. And then that ethanol is used as fuel for cars. This project has a cost of 10 million pounds for installation. And this project in the first year is going to return all of that money and an additional 8 million pounds, for a total return in the first year of over 220%. It is an amazing result here. And it's something that is such a great project. And it's something that these are the types of profits that can be obtained. So as far as paying out these really high returns on the bonds, these and other projects are how we are able to provide so much passive income to our bondholders. So that's a wonderful project. You know, the nice thing about the government of Ukraine, and one of the things that they have done so well, is they already have gone through and prepared a number of projects that are very well managed, that are very well put together, that are on a larger scale, that investors can choose from. And one of the projects that we are looking at is a modern brick factory. And this is important because this project costs $118 million. And it will be one that Andesite Blue, in conjunction with other investment funds, will be potentially investing into. And, you know, the bricks, it is so critical in reconstruction, but it has a nice payback period where it is able to get the capital returned rapidly. And we like those types of projects because that makes it safer. So let's go through an illustration of returns so you have more of an understanding of how much passive income you can obtain by making the wise decision to purchase an Andesite Blue bond. Well, folks, if you were to purchase our lowest paying bond, say you did a 3-year bond, so you would place $100,000 with us for 3 years. Let's say that you elected that you wanted to be paid every quarter. So 4 times a year, you'd get a payment every quarter. You would earn an annual return of 7.15%, and you'd get quarterly payments on that. So that is a situation where, with that particular example there, you place 100,000, you're going to earn 21,450 in interest at the end of the term, but also during the term, it'll be paid out. So you'll receive a total of 21,450 in your interest. Now, what we recommend and what a lot of investors say is that they want the highest possible return. Well, folks, if you want the highest possible return, we recommend you purchase the capital growth bond, the 60-month capital growth bond. The great thing about the 60-month capital growth bond is you can place the 100,000 one time or whatever amount you want. If you want to do a larger placement, we certainly can accommodate that. Or if you want to start with 100,000 or 50,000, whatever. But let's say you placed 100,000. At the end of 60 months, you're going to receive 55,659 in interest, and then you're going to receive the 100,000 back. So that is a really amazing rate of return. And folks, I'll tell you something that I see. Sometimes people say, well, you know, I can get a 20% rate of return. Sometimes investors think they can do that. And that certainly is possible from time to time, but usually on those sorts of returns, it's riskier. And the second thing is a lot of those investors that maybe they think they can get that, they're not getting that for a full year. They may get one deal where they can make that, but then that money's sitting in the bank. By making a wise decision to purchase an Andesite Blue bond, you have 5 years of a return that is going to exceed UK gilts and other government bonds by hundreds of basis points and hundreds of pounds over what you might be able to earn on those. So definitely something to consider. And I want you to think about that, folks. I just encourage you to think about that. But how does this compare to maybe other products? You know, people, they say, well, you know, I've got my money in the S&P 500. I bet a lot of you have your money in the S&P 500. But look at this. The average return on that S&P 500 is only 5.4%. Yet the Andesite Blue bond is running circles over it. It's over 300. It's 8.85%. So that is great. Or some people, they like US bonds. Well, you know, US bonds, it's even lower. It's 4.5%. So there's really a good opportunity here if you're looking for significantly higher growth. And if you don't like to pay fees, if you don't want to see your money getting burned up in fees, you know, a lot of these companies, they brag about we're a low-cost index fund. I'm sure you've heard that, where they talk about, oh, we only charge a 1% fee or half of 1%. Folks, Andesite Blue doesn't charge you any fees. So that low-cost index fund that brags about they only charge you 0.5% or 1% or 0.25%, we don't charge you anything. We know how to place the investments where we can earn a great rate of return, and you're going to get a better return than just sticking it in some index fund. So just think about that, folks. Just consider it. I think it's important to know the numbers. as far as the founders of the company, I'm going to briefly introduce them. I'm one of the founders. The other founder is Mike Wilson, also an American. Just briefly, we met in Kiev, Ukraine a few years ago. We were introduced by a Ukrainian businesswoman when we actually were both working out at the same gym. And we got to talking about the huge opportunities we saw in Ukraine. And I had been investing in Ukraine, and Mike also was interested in all the opportunities in Ukraine. We both had a background in business, and we knew that there was such an opportunity here, and we wanted to do something on a much larger scale. We were here before the war, we've been here during the war, and we will be here after the war. So this is something where this idea was already in existence before the war happened, and now Ukraine is going to come back even stronger and better. We also have some very strong team members, and I encourage you to check them out on our website. Just go to www.andesiteblue.co.uk. We have Steve Dieball. He's a UK citizen and has a lifetime of experience working in emerging markets. We have Nigel Brigden, who's a UK citizen. He's our chairman, and he's a very experienced banker in London. We have Christina Katrakis. She's our international investment coordinator. She's a American citizen, and she really is very well connected. We also have Tetiana Kiltika. She's a Ukrainian and a UK citizen. She's our corporate secretary. She's also a businesswoman in her own right. And then we have on the team, we also have, I'm honored to introduce Vasil Milnik. He's a Ukrainian citizen. He also in the government of Ukraine, he's a former director in the Ministry of Finance. So he has all sorts of connections in the government. We have Anatoly Landman, who's a businessman. If any of you have been to Ukraine and ridden the metro there, the Wi-Fi system in Kiev, his group actually was responsible for that successful implementation when it first was put in. So he's been involved in a lot of really important projects in Ukraine, and he knows so many people. Dr. Mark Hong, he's a US citizen. He was born in South Korea. He's an oral surgeon, and he's our chief medical officer. As you saw in some of the industries we're working in, we're going to be doing things with surgical and dental clinics. He's going to be overseeing those projects. We have Andrew Richings, who's a UK citizen. He's actually the founder of Thomas Kelly Holdings, which is a boutique investment firm that serves a lot of ultra high net worth investors, and he has a lifetime of experience with fixed income products. So he brings so much to the team with us, and we're just pleased to have him. Now, folks, basically, that's how it works. You buy the bond, and you're able to get the passive income. As soon as you buy the bond, you're earning the passive income. We would suggest that you start out with an annual investment program. Pick some amount that for a few years seems like a good annual investment program. Maybe that's $100,000 a year. Maybe that's $50,000 a year. Maybe if you're an institutional investor, you want to do some larger amount. Come one, come all. We are happy to work with you. You'll be earning the money right away. We make the process so simple for you. So when you are ready to get started, just contact us. Just go to our website, www.andesiteblue.co.uk, fill out the contact form. We will get with you immediately. We will help you with whatever you need. We'll get a plan together. We'll get the paperwork together. You can get started, and you will know that your money is working for you, and your money's doing something that's really worthwhile in this world. So I want to thank everyone for coming to the presentation. It is absolutely great to see you all, and I wish you all a very good day. I want to remind you every week we have this, so if you have seen this on the internet, come on by on Thursday at 6:30 p.m. UK time. We have these every week, and we love to meet new people at Andesite Blue. So now I'm going to stop the recording, and then I will open it up to questions. And if anyone has any questions, please just feel free to let me know. And thank you all again for coming.